They appeared like any other young couple in love on social media.
Damn, little lady. You sure can't put it away.
A neighbor's cell phone camera captures this video so graphic we can't show it all.
Hey! Leave her alone! Shut her!
And everything goes horribly wrong.
God!
Now the broad daylight on-camera murder of 27-year-old single mother Shakeia Allen has turned into a multi-state manhunt for her boyfriend, 24-year-old Amir Johnson, who remains in hiding.
If anybody see him, just call the police.
And Shakeia's family are asking viewers in an exclusive interview to help bring Amir to justice for this cold-blooded act.
Come here! Don't you hurt her! Hey! Leave her alone!
You knew us, you smiled with us, you've laughed with us. So how could you find it in your heart to chase her down and just shoot her in broad daylight?
The Scotts of Baltimore, Maryland were a close family, and single mom Shakeia was at the heart of it.
She was a good girl, very fun, always smiling, always had jokes.
I remember I loved going everywhere with her. I remember when she got her first apartment, I always wanted to be over there.
She would send me stuff on TikTok about when people talk about they don't have their fathers in their life. And she'd be like, well, I can't speak for none of y'all because my father always been in my life.
And when Shakeia introduced her father and sister to a new boyfriend, Amir Johnson, they initially thought he fit right in.
The first impression I got of him, he was a cool little kid, you know.
He talked to my sister respectfully, but there was no red flags, no alarms or anything.
But in time, Shakeia and Amir grew apart. Her family says Shakeia wanted out.
My sister got to the point in life where she really just wanted to focus on herself and her daughter, and just growing.
If you're trying to elevate your life and stuff like that, why you can't separate yourself from your old crowd and like it's no hard feelings or anything?
But as Shakeia pulled away, publicly and privately, Amir clung tighter.
I would sit and talk to both of them. I said, look, your relationship, it's not working right now. You and Shakeia, y'all on two different paths.
That's when things turned toxic.
I had the tracker on her phone, put a tracker on her car. At one time, she was out with some co-workers, guys and girls. He popped up. Oh, I just didn't know where she's at. I say, she ought to tell you where she's at every minute, yo. I say, yo, my daughter don't have to check in with you. I say, she don't even check in with me like that.
Shakeia filed a protective order against Amir.
I didn't know that it was ever that bad. Like, she would tell me a little bit of their arguments, but she would never tell me anything that was too dark. I just think for me being her little sister, I think there were certain things that she didn't want me to know.
When neither appeared in court, the judge waived the protective order. Then, months later, police responded to a domestic violence call between Shakeia and Amir.
And I find all of this out through him. He said, Pops, I ain't gonna lie, things got heated, but I didn't put my hands on your daughter, so let me put that out there now. It was just a heated argument, and she called the police.
The restraining order was reimposed, and Amir was given a court date for the domestic assault. But 8 days before, he confronted Shakeia in the parking lot of her apartment complex. This time, he brought his anger and his gun.
Get away from me!
You ain't gonna do nothing but get yourself in trouble, bro.
I have a restraining order on you.
Call the police.
When you take a gun to talk to someone, it's never a good idea. And it's too late with that, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't this, I didn't that. What did you have it for just to talk?
That's why she recorded.
Hey! Get off her! Come here! Don't you hurt her!
People are shocked at the cold brutality of it. of reaching a level of not caring that you will do it in broad daylight.
Hey! Leave her alone! Ah!
When 27-year-old Shakeia Allen's murder became a viral video on social media, it turned a family tragedy into a living nightmare.
I've never seen the video, and I don't want to see it, of course.
Get away from me.
But for me, it's really hard to hear my sister sound so scared. Like, I can't really sit there and listen to it. Just knowing she was scared, trying to get away.
And in an exclusive interview, Shakeia's family says it wasn't the only insult that they were forced to endure.
It was just a horrible letdown. You know, then to text me after you done killed my daughter, like, it was nice knowing you, Jack.
Moments after murdering Shakeia, her ex-boyfriend, 24-year-old Amir Johnson, acknowledged her killing in a brazen and twisted text to Shakeia's father.
I'm like, the hell is he talking about? And I was like, I text back like, I'm gonna hit you a little later.
A personal slight to a man who embraced and counseled Amir early and as a friend.
It was like, man, you're like a father to me, but this is the betrayal that I got.
The betrayal only grew after Amir disappeared into hiding and hasn't been seen since. Now, Shakeia's sister, Shanae, and her father, Nikia, are fighting to build a future for her 3-year-old daughter, Storm.
Storm is 3. When she was at the funeral, he and her say, I don't have a mommy no more. And of course, that made me cry.
And they are desperately asking for the public's help to find Amir.
People assume, like, you know, he did it on camera, like, we saw him do it. There's no way the police haven't gotten him yet.
Baltimore City, New York City can't find one child that's wanted for murder and is on video.
Baltimore detectives are now working with the NYPD to find Amir. They believe he may be currently hiding out in his hometown of New York City.
There's no way he's hiding out this long completely alone. He has to be receiving some sort of support from people.
But for 8 months, there have been no leads, and Shakeia's father says one simple solution could settle the matter quickly.
You're going to have to see me, and you know I'm going to deal with you. So you might as well just turn yourself in, and this way we both can start our process.
Until then, Shakeia's family is pleading with anyone who may have knowledge of Amir Johnson's whereabouts to contact police.
It's hard to even try to heal, to try to move on when he's still free. Justice has not been served yet, and I feel like the first step to try to process your grief is just having some sort of justice there.
As they pray for justice for Shakeia, they continue to grieve her loss.
When I'm going through something, she was one that I could call and I could talk to her about anything. She's like, Dad, it's going to be all right. You're going to be okay, Dad. You know if you need something or you need some support, you know I got you, Dad. I got you. And it's like now she's not here. And I just miss her. Yeah, I just miss my girl.
This is such a tragic and frustrating story. I sat down with former homicide detective Luis Bolaños. Luis, when I look at this video, unedited, unfiltered, it is so disturbing, and it happened outside in broad daylight.
Yeah, it's extremely disturbing. This was an execution at the very least, and that should be infuriating city officials, city leaders to put this on the front burner and give it the attention it deserves. This guy is still on the loose, and the public is in danger. This is going to be a violent ending, most likely, when they finally catch up to him.
You've worked a lot of cases like this. What do you do when you cannot find the suspect?
Well, I think this is screaming for community involvement. And one of the things that really shocks me in this, and I think it's just downright disrespectful, is the fact that the reward is only $2,000. I think that it takes a community effort. $2,000 is not going to make anybody pick up that phone, but this case is starting to get to the point where it's going to take a phone call to catch this guy.
Do you think he gets caught because he makes a mistake or because someone turns him in?
I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I think he's going to trust the wrong person, and they're going to turn him in.
As always, thank you, Louis, for your insight.
Thank you, Anna.
If you have any information about Amir Johnson's whereabouts, please contact the Baltimore County Police Department at 410-887-3943 or 410-307-2020. A reward is being offered for tips leading to his arrest. You can also contact the True Crime News tip line at 888-845-7555. Welcome back. She was a high-profile financial advisor who was running her own fashion company. She told investors that she was using their money to build a sportswear empire, but it would turn out that it was all a lie, and Dawn Bennett's house of cards was about to come tumbling down.
Dawn Bennett certainly had the credentials to manage money for the 1%.
I think she's very smart.
She was number 5 on Barron's list of top 100 women financial advisors, and on her weekly radio show dished out money advice.
Good morning. This is Dawn Bennett with Financial Myth-Busting.
Dawn was living the good life. She leased a $500,000 luxury skybox at the AT&T Stadium to watch the Dallas Cowboys. Her closet was filled with designer shoes, but did she really earn all the money for that lavish life? Maybe there were clues in the kitchen of her swanky penthouse condo.
I didn't know she had cow tongues in her refrigerator.
You heard right. Cow tongues, dozens of them, jammed into jars.
Where do you even buy a cow tongue? I don't know.
Why would this seemingly successful woman fill her fridge with cow tongues? Well, as you're about to learn, authorities say those tongues actually hold the key to a crazy belief and an elaborate fraud.
I've never had somebody do a voodoo doll of me.
TV host, actor, and self-made millionaire Steve Sanagati was one of Dawn's clients.
She was very buttoned up, she seemed very conservative, and she bragged about her successes with finances.
Steve says after an appearance on a talk show to promote his new dating advice book, he ran into Dawn backstage and hired her on the spot to manage his money. But Steve claims she managed him right into poverty.
I went from living on the View to living in a van down by the river.
This is the van he called home. He parked it behind a fried chicken shack.
My friends couldn't believe it. They're like, you're living in a van? Mr. Hollywood? Mr. New York Times?
So what did Dawn allegedly do to shrink Steve's fortune from 7 figures to nothing?
She had me in high risk, very volatile, huge downside investments. I'd open up a statement that was 2 months old, and I'd see like a $200,000 drop. And then Dawn would get on the phone and say, you're up in the market. I'm like, how am I up? The stock market's going through the roof, and I'm losing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Attorney Tucker Veach claims that Dawn was using Steve's and other clients' money to fuel her high-end lifestyle.
It ended up being a classic Ponzi scheme.
According to a civil lawsuit filed by the SEC, Dawn allegedly hoodwinked at least 46 investors in what the feds call a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme.
Money comes in, I use the money for other things and or overexpend, and then I start paying people back with the money that is coming in from other investors.
When the feds finally get a warrant to search Dawn's penthouse, they come across some of the strangest evidence they've ever seen. Right there in Dawn's refrigerator, inside those jars, those cow tongues. And on the lid of the jars, initials.
Those were somehow representative of the SEC attorneys that were bringing the cases against her.
According to the search warrant, the initials of the SEC's lawyers were on the lids so she could put them under what she called a hoodoo spell, sort of like voodoo. The warrant says she invoked the hex in hopes of paranormally silencing the SEC attorneys investigating. They found a handwritten note saying, "I command you to hold your tongue."
Is to cut their tongue out so they couldn't talk against her.
It certainly didn't prevent them from finding evidence. Court documents claim Dawn promised sky-high returns as outlined in numerous emails they seized. The feds arrested Dawn and charged her with wire fraud, bank fraud, and well over a dozen other federal charges, though she pleaded not guilty and denied defrauding investors. She was eventually found guilty by a jury and sentenced to 20 years in prison. But there was still Steve Sanagati.
Even though Steve is not the little old lady, his portfolio was probably the most egregious that I'd ever seen.
Steve claims while he lost money, he was not caught up in the alleged Ponzi scheme. But he was a victim of Dawn allegedly overtrading his account, draining it with high commissions.
Follow the money. Who made money under those circumstances? It wasn't me.
Steve and his attorney took Dawn to arbitration, and he won the case.
We got $1,040,000, over $1 million settlement.
Steve learned his lesson the expensive way and has this parting advice for anyone with hard-earned cash.
I don't know how long I'll be on the planet, so enjoy your money, spend it, go do things.